With this session update, I'm Shannon Lurkey. The Senate State Government Committee heard testimony today on a bill that would remove the governor's peacetime emergency authority to impose restrictions on school schedules, activities, and closures. Here are some highlights from this meeting.
Senate File 2 simply removes the ability of the governor to use emergency powers to close our schools. It's just a very narrow improvement to Chapter 12, and it puts I believe the decision making where it should be, which is the locally elected school boards. This issue is not new to any Minnesotan. There has been great consternation and concern about the closure of our public schools for in-person student learning. And as the chair of the Education Policy and Finance Committee last year, I heard from superintendents, board members, parents from all over the state about the inability of a one-size-fits-all solution determined in St. Paul, that it would at all be appropriate for a very diverse state with very diverse school districts, their needs, their ability to mitigate risks. And that's what the genesis of this bill is. I'll just touch on a couple brief parts. Number one, we need to do this for student health. The American Academy of Pediatrics has encouraged having students present in school. And in fact, we've seen increases in failures. I had a first grade teacher call me 2 nights ago to say for the first time in her teaching career, 75% of her first graders do not know their letters. These are kids that kindergarten ended on March 13th, and many had not been back in school since.
One of the echoing themes that I've heard from parents and that I personally feel is powerlessness, which can be echoed from Senator Nelson's testimony about, I have friends, kids who have tried to commit suicide. They've had to have emergency services come in since this. 2 people I know of, just in my immediate circle. The ability to work is really difficult. And so as far as the powerlessness, I'll give just a few examples from yesterday. Yesterday, I was a puddle of tears, which has happened numerous times during distance learning, but just yesterday, so Monday night at 8 p.m., I got an email from the school saying my kid with a disability wouldn't be able to come to school the next day. And he wouldn't be able to come indefinitely because there'd been a COVID exposure. So I'm sitting there, my husband and I both work full time, trying to figure out how am I going to get childcare for him indefinitely now because school is just closed. This is not the first time it's happened. Last time it was 5 minutes before the bus was supposed to come pick him up. And so it's just been really hard to live life this way.
Previously, if there were a flu or norovirus in a school, schools would work with the health department when cases became above a certain percentage rate. And in fact, in Farmington, there was a case where we had to close down a grade level because of norovirus. We've closed down schools a couple of days. But in that scenario, we would work with the health department and with agencies, and it would be a local control piece, and the decision would ultimately be made locally with our local school board and the superintendents, also with the parents involved as well. Just like on a snow day, the weather isn't the same across the state of Minnesota. In fact, it's not even the same across the county here in Dakota County. I know that. So we can't have a cookie cutter approach to how we handle education and the learning plans across the state with one fell swoop.
I also am confident that my district would have opened our high school in a less restrictive learning model this year using in-person rather than what was directed through our RST. Because our only shortfall that we had during the entire school year thus far was teacher shortages, which I think could have been corrected with a few funding changes at the beginning. So we would have actually not have been affected. We could have actually kept our schools based on county case counts, which we were allowed to use in-district case numbers, and we would have been fine.
We do want to say that on behalf of the governor and commissioners Malcolm and Ricker, that we do believe that the approach taken to eliminate the governor's authority to engage in emergency management of school calendars and openings is not the approach that we would need to be taking during a pandemic. In the manner that it places all health and safety of our students, families, and educators at the forefront, while we're also striving to prioritize in-person learning. We believe that by eliminating this authority, it could have dramatic negative consequences for all types of future emergencies that our schools could face and could be confronted under the consistent leadership of a governor.
All want COVID to be done. Believe me, I definitely want it to be done. It is not over. In responding to this pandemic, as with any emergency or disaster, coordinated emergency response is key. 2020 has been Minnesota's deadliest year. Fortunately, our children have been mostly spared from the more severe impacts of this disease. However, this is not the case for too many Minnesotans. Specific demographic populations cannot be walled off or placed in a bubble from a highly infectious virus that is circulating widely in the community, such as SARS-CoV-2 is currently. What happens in our schools spills over to the rest of our community.
I empathize with these parents, especially those who have students with special needs. Myself, I grew up with a sister that has special needs, and I understand that there are just some students in which online learning and distance learning is just not a working solution, right? But we are still in a situation where 3,000 Americans are dying every single day. And on top of that, we still don't know what the long-term effects are for those who contracted or who got COVID-19 and survived. So I think that we need to act as a collective, and I think that hundreds of school boards and school districts acting separately without any sort of coordination is not the best way to address this, especially a communicable disease. And this is a collective problem that requires a collective solution.
I have a superintendent who's created a plan, practicing the best practices, putting in the best health practices to keep them safe. They haven't had any significant outbreaks. They're back to school in the middle schools and teaching. What I also find interesting is I think in Minneapolis recently, only 7% of the teachers have a concern about going back to school because of a health issue or whatever the underlying issues are. If we really wanted to get back and our kids mattered, we'd be back teaching our children. I have a 13 or a 12-year-old granddaughter at my house. Remote learning is not working. 50% of Minnesotans don't have access to online learning in an internet or broadband perspective. I know what that's like in my very household today. There are many private schools that have continued to remain open, practicing safe health practices recommended by the CDC. They've been open, and I haven't seen one single headline of that there's super spreader events and that anybody's risks or lives are put in harm's way. And so needs have been accommodated, but there's health issues. And so we're doing that. They're masking, they're practicing all of the recommendations. So please provide me that where I missed the headlines, that the schools have become super spreader events for all of the private schools who have functioned through the entire pandemic. So
what we do know is this. We know that children have been infected. We know that both children who are very young, as well as all the way up through teenagers, so school-age children have been infected. We also know that staff, educators, bus drivers, et cetera, have been infected as well. Now, we do have some cases where we have seen spread from children impact families or other family members, sometimes with very tragic consequences. The basic premise of our public health science-driven approach is, how do we limit the spread of the disease? And we know that whenever we have people interact outside of their household pod, they have increased risk for spreading the disease. It's an infectious disease. That's how they work.
we have all of the other public schools have been closed for some time, in fact, the majority around the state. So if we could please highlight the public schools in which you had indication that we've had a mass breakout of any sort, and that the contact tracing led back to the school. I understand it's limited, but I also understand it's limited in your ability to dictate where a teacher, where staff, or anybody migrates throughout the day. Walmart, all of our superstores, and everybody's behaviors. We're focusing on a school as if it's something unique and that everybody's been quarantined in a school environment, the teachers. That's not the case. So if we could, please focus on specifically private schools, and I'd like to know where those outbreaks have occurred. They've been open for months and practicing everything you just spoke about, the CDC recommendations. I'd like to know where that's occurring and why that can't occur in the public school system today.
We have had outbreaks in private schools. We have had outbreaks in public schools. I do not have those data on me, but I'm more than happy to provide you and your committee members with those data, specifically of which outbreaks we have had.
You went through the emergency management stuff. I'm a former emergency manager, and you talk about a coordinated approach. That is true. Incident command system leads itself to that, but the piece that there's a couple of pieces that I don't understand that are missing. You know, the Homeland Security Emergency Manager Director Kelly, who what I thought would have been coordinating this approach, I have not heard from him at all through this pandemic. It seems like he has been muzzled or silenced. The other thing that I know about in the incident command system, and when you're dealing with the emergency management, is that the state is there to assist the local control. They're there, the locals develop the plan, and the state is there to assist them.
It's not like the governor wakes up one day and says, well, I'm just going to close the schools. He's relying upon a lot of people to give him that guidance. We do have a safe learning plan that's been put out. It provides state guidelines for opening our schools, and it relies on the county COVID case rates. Schools have been using this. The Bloomington schools recently closed their early elementary grades because of transportation outbreak of COVID linked perhaps to students that I'm not sure of. District 196, the Rosemont Apple Valley Egan Public Schools, fourth largest district, this week voted their school board that they are going to go to hybrid learning for all secondary students in the district, and they've already opened their elementary grades. There's no question this has been a difficult time for parents and students. I think that there are students that have fallen behind. I'd just like to remind people in the governor's budget, he does provide funding for additional educational opportunities for students.
This is the first time these emergency powers have been used under this criteria, the interpretation that the governor has made for this kind of a virus. The statute is specific, tornadoes, floods, things like that were considered natural disasters, well understood. Now, this interpretation is the first time. And so the question I have for you, Assistant Commissioner, since we have type A, we have many viruses that come around, is your thought that the next time this will happen again, that will shut everything down for a year, almost a year?
The courts have supported the governor's interpretation that a public health emergency does fall under Chapter 12. This is the worst public health emergency we've had in a century since the influenza pandemic of 1918. I cannot predict the future, but I know that as with any public emergency response, it's important that we're able to have a coordinated response, one that that follows the science and that allows us to protect all the residents of Minnesota.
Deaths have increased by 14%. Accidents have gone up 15%. Homicides have gone up 15%. Deaths in long-term care have gone up 26%. And all other residents have only gone up 11%. Does not talk to the fact that this is something that's broad. You know, let's take, for example, we could use my district. There's an outbreak in Shakopee, and 20 miles away is the New Prague School District. Why should New Prague, where there's not an outbreak, have to react to something that's happening in Shakopee, which might be driven by some of the long-term care facilities.
It comes down to one size does not fit all. We had a member actually make the comment that we need to act as a collective. I've never heard a more Marxist comment on the Senate floor or within the Senate in my entire life. We are a representative republic. What Washington, D.C. has given us instructions and has given us as a nation directions, and we as individual states have the ability to work within them and come up with our solutions, which is the reason why we need to give our school districts the background and information and guidelines and let them make the decisions, because what happens in Hastings isn't the same as what happens in Roseville or Roseau or Duluth.
So that we understand that the governor is dealing with, this is an international crisis. It's not just one city, one town, one school district. It's an international crisis. And also, he has made the decision back last year to do the closures, and then has slowly opened up different things that school districts can do. And as Senator Clausen said, there are school districts that are making these independent decisions. They're not going back to the governor to make them. They're making them based on what their school boards and their superintendents want to do. That's what's happening in my school district is, they're not going back to the governor. And so to say that this is all onto the governor is a little bit of a misconception.
Clearly, this is a very important issue. I will just close briefly. The members made great closing remarks, but there's a couple things that this bill does not do. And I want to make sure this is clear on the public record. Number one, Senate File 2 is not about frustration, as some testifiers said. Yes, there's plenty of frustration, but Senate File 2 is about who best can make the decision about how and when to safely open schools. So it's about who is in the best position. And I've heard nearly all speak that it is local control has that. The second thing I want to note, this bill does not remove the governor's emergency powers. This is a very surgical, very tight change in the emergency powers in Chapter 12. It just specifically states that the governor cannot use a public emergency powers to close schools and alter their schedules. So it's a very surgical response. It is not removing executive powers. And then thirdly, this bill does not require that any school be open. It simply requires that local school boards make that decision.
To continue following these issues and more, watch legislative coverage Monday through Friday on the PBS Minnesota channel or visit our website, www.senate.mn/media.